Finding yourself and finding your calling are two things that I think are actually really difficult to do. And I feel like this is something a lot of people struggle with, and especially with how things are at the moment in the world. Like, everything feels like it's moving so fast. Like, even if we look back 10, 20 years ago, like the technology we had, like it's like in such a short space of time, so much has happened, so much keeps happening, there's so much change. And I think a lot of people struggle, like myself, for instance. I always use myself as the example because it's easier to talk about ourselves and what things are to us. And then that's by doing that, I believe then it like either helps and inspires others, or even if people don't necessarily agree or relate to what you're saying, like you're still being truthful, real, and yourself. Which is stuff that I feel like basics like that are actually really hard to find in this day and age. But I majorly struggle because I feel like my soul's so old, like, but I'm in a younger person's body, you know? Not that old yet. But it's kind of crazy because I don't know, I have this feeling a lot of the time like I just really don't belong here. I mean, who else relates to that? Like, it's like sometimes I feel like, yeah, I see the world, I see what's happening, like, yes, I'm here in this body, but it's like I battle with it daily because there's so many like injustices and wrongdoing in the world. And I always say it, like, we live in a low vibrational world. Like, there is always good, yes, however, like the general running of the world, shall we say, and the things that are tried to put on us through this like system that we're in, it's like it's all low vibrational, low frequency. And it's really hard when you're like, even if you're not like in that system of existence, we're all, I guess, still kind of in it to a degree because we're aware of it, even if we're aware of it and we don't really partake, or, you know, we try not to involve ourselves in it that much, but it's like it's still there. And like I feel like when you're more sensitive to energies, it's like you don't just feel like your own, it's like you're feeling the energy of the world. And that's where I found like it's so difficult. And I think on a soul level, it's like, okay, I understand I've obviously come here to finish, you know, learning some lessons and doing some good work while I'm here. But it's like, it's just, I can't, it's really hard to describe. Even now I'm like struggling to get the words to describe it, but it's this feeling of like not belonging and not feeling like you relate to others or you fit in, or, and just like it can feel really alone. I have touched on this on like a lot of my other videos, but you know, as the energy is changing and I think more people are awakening, I think that's great. But I don't know about other people who are on this journey, but I feel like we might come across a few others who maybe are like conscious or awakening or on their journeys too, as I call it, but maybe they're like people that don't live near you, or people you're maybe not so close with, or like maybe you connect with them online, or you might have met them once or twice. Like, I don't know, that it's different for everyone, but I really feel alone. Like, literally nobody gets me, and then it's really hard to have people to relate to, and you're always that person in your life, like I am, and it's like I'm always the one giving help or advice or helping others, which I do love to do, don't get me wrong, but then there's also that human part of you that then battles, like, you know, that's your soul and what your soul's calling you to do. But on a human level, you're like, oh, you're still wanting to interact, like you still want some of the human experiences, but it's like, how do you get it when, you know, like you're not you haven't come across those right people yet, or the people that get you. Like, I have it so often, I'll go out and it's like I observe everything, you know, my eyes are like eagle eyes, like I notice everything that goes on, like, and my senses are so heightened, like noises, sounds, like I just know if someone's walking behind me, like loud noises, I'm like, oh, like, do you know what I mean? I'm very sensitive to everything that goes on around me. And it's like, I just look at people and I think, wow, like people can seem so lost, and like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're there, but then you also feel like you're not there. You're like, is this really the experience and the existence that I'm in? Like, wow. So that's the kind of feelings I think a lot of us are finding. It's a bit of a mad feeling, yeah. But also then I feel like there's a lot of people that aren't so conscious or aren't so aware, but they're really struggling with where they are at and like finding themselves, or like what is their purpose, like what's their purpose for being here. And it's learning to prioritize, I think, your own needs over the needs of others, and doing things that benefit you and are for your highest good over people pleasing or trying to do for others just because we know that's going to make them happy. Like, at the end of the day, none of us were born to make other people happy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you were born for your own purpose. Your purpose wasn't to like say yes to everyone else, to please everyone else and be happy to everyone else. And I think so many people don't really know who they are. Like, I'll have moments where I think, oh my God, who am I? Like, every year I look back, I'm like, I feel like I'm a newer version of myself now. But it's like, yeah, who am I? And it's like, you really have to then like ground yourself and reconnect with yourself to like remember like who you are and what you're here for. But even like when we feel strong, like we can still doubt ourselves. It's a difficult feeling. And I think sometimes we have this vision in our head that it's like finding ourselves, you know, is this goal. We have to like find ourselves and know who we are and what we want. But actually, a lot of the time, we know it on a soul level, like we know it deep within our subconscious. We're actually just too afraid to be that person. So the goal shouldn't be to like find ourselves and know our purpose, although a lot of us will think that's a goal, which it is, but the biggest one is just to be ourselves. Because when we remove all the conditioning, the opinions and thoughts of others, we make our ego take a step back. It's like, it would be so much easier than if we could be ourselves. But a lot of us are just always thinking, oh my God, what will other people think? And, you know, like there's a saying, if it's your calling, it will keep calling you. So if you're drawn to something and, you know, that was your first thing, like, oh my God, I was drawn to do this, or I was drawn to go to this place, or I was drawn to meet this person, do it. Like, if you feel drawn to do it, do it. But then if your logical mind steps in and your logical brain's like, oh, well, that'll cost too much, or oh, that's not really practical at the moment, or oh, I'm a bit scared to do that, like, that's your logical brain kicking in, like, trying to stop you. But like, if you listen to always your first answer, like, that's your soul calling. And sometimes things will just, you know, keep calling us. It's a really intriguing one. I'll give you a random example, but like with me, for instance, I know my life path and my purpose is here to be a healer and a teacher and to help others. I get that. And sometimes I think, am I suffering so much in life because, yes, I'm processing a lot of my own pain and traumas I've been through, and I'm trying to work through that. But is it because I'm not fully stepping into that role? So that's where I'm like in that in between. It's like, I know what my purpose is, but then part of me will still doubt myself, or, you know, I'll like think, oh, you know, I kind of back off from it a bit. Whereas the universe is probably actually trying to be like, no, you know, this is what you're here to do. You're going to have to do it. And it's crazy because people will still reach out to me, and then I'll end up having to help them. And it's like, so even if I wasn't going after it, that's what I mean. Like, your calling will be your calling. It happens in my dream state. Like, off in my dream state, I'll be like doing healing work for people, land, energies, homes, like with such specific details that it's like, wow. Like, and I'll wake up and I'll remember it to a T. And like, I learn things in other realms that I then bring back and I can implement in this realm to help others. Like, it's so intense. I've done like channeling stuff in my dreams, rescue work, working with spirits, like, you know, that are trapped or lost. And it's like, they're the things that I put off doing in this life. Well, not put off, it's just, I don't think that's the right word to use, but things maybe I've like backed away from a little, or not fully gone into because like I'm like kind of debating it or thinking, you know, is it for me, or oh, can I, you know, would it be good? Like, yeah, I know the answers, but, you know, there's still a part of us that I guess, even though I don't like to want to be in that, but like sometimes we're a little fearful of these things, or it's the unknown or the change or doing something different. But it's like, that's what I say, if it's your calling, it's going to keep calling you, because these things keep coming to me. Like, every night in my dreams, there'll be new stuff I'm learning, new experiences. And again, last night's one was intense. Woke up, wrote a few pages about it. And again, it was all about like energy work, healing the land. And then I met two other people and they were using the exact same techniques that I was doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like unknown of. Like, it was incredible. So again, that's like another example. Another example on that note is like, I've never been drawn to like cats in my life. I never liked them. Okay, kind of crazy, I know. I never liked them, even though I love animals. It's not to say like I just don't like them. I just never, they wouldn't have been for me, if that made sense. And then like over the last couple of months, I've been really drawn to them. You know, like they'll come up to me in the street and they'll start like wanting to play with me and wanting me to stroke them. Like in so many ways I've been drawn to them. It's unreal. So watch this space. Who knows what's next with that? But this is what I'm saying. Sometimes I think if certain things are meant for us, like they'll find us. And it's often, you know, just trusting our intuition more and learning to build up what's our intuition and what's fear and the logical brain taking over, and finding that balance between the two so we can help guide ourselves forward on our path and our journey. But I think the most important thing is literally just be you. It's so simple. It's like, be you. Because I'll sometimes think, okay, right, today I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my hair like this, or I'm going to wear this. And then I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, oh, maybe I should maybe I'll just wear black again. Yeah, I'll just wear black. Yeah, I'll blend in, won't really stand out. No one will really look at me then. Like, you know, instead of wearing something more bright or out there, and it's like, okay, like, you see, it's like there's a side of me that wants to be recognized and wants to come out, but then there's like the ego and the brain that overthinks and then thinks, what will other people think? And then I'm like, oh, okay, then I suppress it. So, you know, whatever we're suppressing is actually probably what we need to express. So let the suppression be expressed, and let's just work on being our true selves. And if others don't like that, who cares? Like, we didn't get born, our souls didn't go through all they've been through just to come here to care about what others think. I know, easier said than done. It's something I'm working on, but you know, I share this because I think we're all a work in progress. None of us are perfect. You know, although I try and hold myself to these like standards of perfection, and I am like that person that will probably, you know, oh my gosh, there's this one bit of hair. Okay, right, wait, need to sort it. You know, like I am very perfectionist. I do, you know, that's one of my traits, but it's something I'm trying to work on, because no one or nothing is perfect. You know, we're all just who we are, and that should be the beauty in that, is that we are what we are, not something we're trying to be or that we're suppressing to be. So they're just my little reasonings and thoughts for the day. I thought I'd share that with you while it came to me. If it makes sense and resonates, I hope it does for some of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Take care.